here you are, Cenk, telling the entire right wing that all you want to do is break bread with them, that you want to debate with them, but afterward you want to go have a beer.
Yes, I do.
You want to have a beer with people who want to put people in mass deportation camps. They want to deport.
You think we're going to get put in camps? You sound all right. Anyway,
well, dude, Cenk, you're not going to get put in camps. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Does he think they're not going to put immigrants in camps? Dude, that was their whole fucking policy. That's literally what the entire campaign was on. Like, my God, dude. Now he's like saying, oh, they're not really going to do the concentration camps, bro. Holy Jesus.
You think I sound crazy? They're starting with Chinese people. That's my fucking family, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
That's such an excuse. Okay, they're going to start with Muslims. They're going to start with my people. Okay, if they start at all.
Yeah,
so stop hiding behind vulnerable communities.
I'm hiding behind vulnerable communities.
You are.
Oh my God, stop hiding behind vulnerable communities. Dude, this guy, he's not even a leftist, bro. He is literally arguing from a place of like, he is on the exact same side as Charlie Kirk. He might say he's got a couple policy differences, but he is on the same side as Charlie Kirk.
I'm standing in front of vulnerable communities, Cenk.
No,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm in front of vulnerable communities. I'm the most endangered, Franny.
By tweeting at Elon Musk? Please.
I'm the most endangered, he said. I am the most endangered. The wealthy guy funded by Polymarket sharing the stage with the white nationalists and having a beer and high-fiving him while the trans people are being swept up under the fucking bus, and he is the most endangered. He said that he is the vulnerable one, bro. Did you see that? Oh my God, bro. He is the oppressed.
I'm standing in front of vulnerable communities, Cenk. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm in front of vulnerable communities. I'm the most endangered.
The most endangered.
Please, don't help me. Come on, this is so sad.
Oh, help me.
Let's take it down. Let's simmer down. No. Simmer down. I'm asking. Let me just ask you real honest to God.
You already said 12 things that I need to respond to.
Dude, I mean, the writing was on the wall, but like, I think it's pretty official that Cenk is he's a piece of shit. He is. There's no way around it. Like the attitude accusing her of standing behind the vulnerable communities. He literally went and like sat in a room and said something about transgender people having rights, and everybody groaned, and he was like, oh, I can live with that. There's no defending him. He has already gone back to his young Republican days, without a doubt. He is not a progressive anymore.
I'm in favor of trans rights. If you want to be called a birthing person, we love it. We got no problem with it. You be called a birthing person. But when you say no, we call everyone a birthing person.
Dude, nobody ever said we're going to call everybody a birthing person. Now he's so right-wing that he's using the shit that doesn't even happen. That never happened. This is like Donald Trump's, hey, we can say Merry Christmas again. Nobody ever said you couldn't say Merry Christmas, you dumb motherfuckers. You guys just flipped out anytime somebody said happy holidays. Nobody ever said you have to use the phrase birthing person. Nobody ever even called Ana Kasparian a birthing person. Like, what the is he talking about?
So I started the largest progressive network. I've given, dozens of progressives opportunities they didn't have before. I started Just Democrats, et cetera, et cetera. The minute I disagree, like 5% on trans issues or crime, everybody's like, right-wing, fascist, right-wing. Almost every show is saying that.
Dude, 5% issues on trans rights or crime. Like, how do you like 5% on human rights? That's something that's really problematic. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to human rights, you know, if there's one binary in the world, If there is one binary, it would be attached to human rights. Humans have rights. Humans don't have rights, right? And it doesn't matter what word is in the parentheses, transhumans or disabled humans or black humans or white humans or Muslim humans or Christian humans or whatever. It's like humans have rights. Yes. Humans have rights. No. That's really it. The parenthetical shouldn't matter. But the fact that like he's willing to put a parenthetical in there and then flip that switch is not disagreeing 5%. That's like 100% disagreement. Like, for instance, you could say, well, if you think trans women have an advantage in sports, then maybe we need to refashion sports, because maybe it's something about sports that's problematic, where it's not the trans women, but it might be the sports itself that is the problem. But we don't have a discussion about, are sports fair? Are sports very unfair? Maybe sports are really unfair. And maybe it's not just about trans women. Maybe when it's a biologically gifted cisgender woman plowing over all the other women, maybe that's really unfair too. You know what I'm saying? They don't actually want to have the real discussion. But putting a parenthetical in there about human rights and then wanting to flip that switch is not a 5% disagreement. That is unfair. True, like
almost every show. So you telling me that you don't push people out? You're pushing out the movement overall. At least the online left movement seems to be trying to push out the one network that has helped progressives more than any other network, and it's not in dispute. But my God, we have 5% disagreement. So tear it down, tear it down. This is the destructive extreme left that I honestly that portion. That kind of destructive attitude is poison. It's not just poison to us, it's poison to our chances of winning, because we keep pushing people out.
Capitulating to people who tear human rights away from individuals. I think that is the biggest failure. And it's not going to lead to winning. It's going to lead to authoritarianism, period. When you let fucking human rights go, it will not stop at the trans people, Cenk. If you let the trans human rights go, they're going to go to the women's human rights. They're going to go to the gays. They're going to go back to the black human rights. We've been there before. Appeasement does not work, dude.
There's the shunning power. There's
shunning power.
There's mainstream media power. There's political power.
The shunning power. Look at him. Oh, my God, dude. Look at him, dude.
Power on the left. There's tons of power on the left. And when the swarm comes, the left-wing swarm, you'd like to be called a woman. You're racist, fascist, transphobe. What? I'm not authoritarian. No, that is an authoritarian mindset. Just you don't have to have power to have an authoritarian mindset. And there's different versions of power.
You don't have to have power. Hold on, to have an authoritarian mindset. Dude, what the fuck did he just say? I mean, what he just said is literally the slave owner walking out to the slaves and telling them they're being uppity. You don't have to have power to have an authoritarian mindset. Okay, is that like a parent getting ready to take the strap to their 5-year-old because they're like, you think you own me? You think you own me? I'll show you who's boss. Like, dude, what the fuck is going on with this man, bro?
We're glad Cenk's here, everybody. And that was the feeling that I think a lot of right-wingers have when they look at you, Cenk, where they're like, damn, yo, we crushed so hard. Even this guy is turning now.
Yeah.
Yeah, except I'm not turning. I've said it 2,000 times.
Sure.
I'm just saying what it would look like. I'm just saying
dude, he's already turned, though. That's the thing. Like, he says he's not turning, but he's already turned. Look at this interview. He's already accused her of using vulnerable people as a shield when she's actually from multiple vulnerable groups. She's not white. She's a woman. She's had rights taken away. I mean, granted, Trump's done the Muslim ban, but that's never applied to the wealthy ones. He's not from a vulnerable fucking group. He's not vulnerable at all. And he even grandstanded there and said how he's the one with the most, to lose, the one who's in the most vulnerable position. Like, dude, he's already them. He is already in a position of power and privilege and acting like he's fucking oppressed. Why? Because some online left-wingers disagree with him or got mad at him for shitting on people's human rights or being a weirdo about this bullshit crime narrative. Bro, what is he talking about? He already has turned. The conversion is done. The transition is complete, dude. He doesn't need to eat any more right-wing hormone because he's already fucking converted, bro. Jesus.
I feel like we are in the precipice of a really perilous time.
Yeah.
Of
no shit.
True authoritarianism coming to the United States. And someone like you, who has been such a leader on the progressive left, has such a massive role to play in this moment as a stalwart of resistance, as so many of these centrists are kowtowing to the right. And then I see you on the same stages with and in the same rooms with.
Dude, with Charlie Kirk, bro. Charlie Kirk is a dirty, anti-Semitic, racist, anti-woman, just the lowest of the low. You know what I'm saying? The scumbaggery level, he's right in the Matt Gaetz, Andrew Tate level shithole, where the guy is deceitful, he's a liar, he said so much stuff that is openly anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ, anti-women, anti-minority, and Cenk ended up high-fiving the guy, up there on the stage, trying to get Charlie to, approve of him. It was just such a broken moment. The progressive movement that Cenk started, his personal corner of the movement, just fucking died right then when he bent over and let Charlie just dry hump him on that stage. It was literally just the end, bro.
The right-wingers who are mouthpieces of said authoritarianism. And I don't believe that you are actually pushing back instead. And I think there's a project here. You're trying to find points of agreement. So what are you doing and why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I get why people are concerned. So you've seen this pattern a number of times. So people think, oh, this is the beginning of the pattern. We know how that ends, right? So you see Dave Rubin go talk to Tucker Carlson once. You say, well, okay, he's defending our side or finding a point of agreement, whatever, right? But then next thing you know, he agrees with Tucker again and again and again and again. And then all of a sudden he's talking about how bad the left is and how, my favorite example about how the forest fires in California started because the fire departments allowed gay people to join.
Right. Wild.
Yeah. And Franny, we've seen this movie many times, and me especially as a Muslim, because Israel always finds collaborators and to come out and go, oh, look at this Muslim guy. He says Muslims are violent, and it is in their book, and it's all their fault, right? And one of those mouthpieces. So I understand, guys, that pattern exists, and so why people would be concerned the minute it seems like you're taking the first step there. But it is possible to not do that pattern.
See, I hear him on it's possible to go hang out with these guys and not turn into a Dave Rubin. But here's the problem. When the leader of the progressive movement goes and makes nice with the anti-progressives, and he's willing to stand on the stage and talk about gun control and get booed, and he's willing to throw trans people under the bus in order to make him like him, and all of that is fine. He's legitimizing them. Now, if Cenk is willing to share the stage, right? If the most progressive guy, even though Cenk's not the most progressive, he's a phony, right? And he used to be a Republican. Don't you forget it, guys. All right, Cenk, I know whatever, they started the progressive movement, but this motherfucker was a Republican. And don't ever forget that. He started as a Republican.
So, Jesse, that's really interesting because I was a Republican growing up, and I was actually a Republican until George W. Bush. He was the first Republican I ever voted against.
He converted to an independent and then to progressive, and he tried to ride the wave of Bernie and shit because he thought it was going to be this new thing, but he converted. He was not a lifer. He was one of them, and now he's going back. But my point being is when he gets identified by the right-wingers as being like the father of progressivism and the most progressive voice out there, whatever, the guy who started the movement, when he shares the stage with Charlie Kirk, he allows them plausible deniability. Now Charlie Kirk and the rest of MAGA can say, well, of course Charlie's not a racist. Of course he's not anti-Semitic. Of course he's not a transphobe because the most progressive voices out there like him. If he was really a racist and all this bad shit, the king of the progressives wouldn't be hanging out with him. That's the cover he provides. He's legitimized them. If Bernie Sanders starts making nice with Nazis, it's going to make the Nazis look good. Because they're going to be like, God damn, maybe those Nazis aren't so bad. That old Jewish guy sure wouldn't sit down with them if they were really Nazis. That's the fucking problem, bro.
Who you believe you represent when you go on these shows. You say we a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who you are referring to when
we?
you say we. Is it yourself? Is it you? And is it Anna and you and Anna? Is it all of TYT? Is it the broader left? Who do you think you represent when you go on these shows to make the case about how there's commonality?
Yeah.
We.
So, great question again.
The royal
first
we.
Off, for folks who don't know, I never block anyone from stating their opinions, and I like that we have the whole range, right? And in the past, we've had David Pakman as part of the net, like the YouTube network broadly.
But who's the we, Cenk? Who's the we? You've said these things before, and I have thoughts on them. But who's the we?
So that's TYT. TYT is that whole spectrum of left-wing thought. And as you know, Franny, we debate on the show all the time.
We don't. We really, like, I just want to be fair. Like, we don't. Because if we did, we would have had this conversation many, many times, but we don't. Number one, no. I am not the main host. Ana Kasparian is. Number two, I am rarely the fill-in host. Jordan Ewell has been filling in quite frequently. Number three, when I do fill in as a host or as a guest, it depending on the story is when we can actually sometimes maybe squeeze in 1 or 3 minutes of debate, but we have to keep it moving. That is the job. The job is to do the news. It's to get to all the different things. So I just want to say that it's very unfair to say that these debates have happened on the main show. Certainly not with me.
Oh, dude, she is calling his ass out. Something tells me, all right, something tells me that it's not going to land on him very well, I think.
Maybe once around trans issues, but I want to leave that aside. Who is we? Who are you saying when you say we?
Dude, he's not answering the fucking question. Yeah, dude, she is a badass. I love her, bro.
Okay, but let me address that real quick. But yes, but I've gotten into so first of all, we do the news, so we debate within that news story. Is it a shorter period of time? Yes. Sometimes I'll do longer ones. I did a longer one with Jordan Ewell.
Oh shit, bro.
Dude,
he's a weasel, bro.
Et cetera. And then
he's a fucking weasel.
The network, etc. So now that's TYT is the left in general. Young Turks is the flagship show. That's me and Anna. And so,
dude,
I would say that we, as in me and Anna, are maximum populist, but not maximum left, right? So I am maximum left on some issues, but not all issues. And so those are two different political.
Who is the we?
The left-right spectrum and the establishment populist spectrum. I mean, I now see Emma Vigeland defending the establishment, which is mind-blowing.
The whole, I'm going to go on the record and say here, because he is using the linchpin of his whole fucking identity to eke his way out of the left and right and all this. He's trying to provide cover for himself by talking about populism. But dude, I feel like populism is a cop-out. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. It's a way for him to like sit in the middle there and separate himself from both sides and using the establishment as like a bogeyman. It's like a version of the deep state. It's the same shit, bro. Because at the end of the day, the establishment is everybody that's actually in Congress. Every Congress member, every state house member, everyone who is in power is the establishment. Cenk is the establishment of political commentary because he is entrenched. He is a known voice. He has an established power over the other voices. So for him to try and use populism as a way of denying his own establishment nature, when it's this motherfucking guy is the establishment. That's why he's standing there on the fence, throwing trans people under the bus and throwing women under the bus and not caring about it because he's the fucking establishment. But he's no, I believe in populism. I'm not like Mitch McConnell. And it's you dumb motherfucker. You are the Mitch McConnell of the fucking progressive movement. Bro, that is some bullshit. Dude, that is some fucking bullshit, boss. Jesus. Again, I feel like part of this is just Cenk being Cenk, because of course he's now getting on the MAGA train, but he's going to choose the most divisive side of the MAGA world, which is also the side where the money is. Right? But dude, now he's getting the teen sex trafficker endorsement. Cenk is. How proud he must be. Right? You think he feels a sense of accomplishment knowing that he went from being a progressive voice in American politics, supposedly, to getting the sex trafficking endorsement of a guy who has with underage girls in front of people at parties? Bro, no offense, but you've heard it here first, guys. If I ever get an endorsement from Matt Gaetz, I want you to end me, okay? I want you to end my career. Or at least come in and tell me it's time to pack it in.